Oh, I think we're live. All right, going live on TikTok. 3, 2, 1. All right. Hey, there we go. Hey, I think we're live. And I can kind of see the comments too. Do I consider this a win? Like, this day is going to be a pretty good day, right? So first wanted to say hi to everybody out there. Literally everybody out there. We have a very interesting day planned together. As you can tell, we've got some drinks here. This is called Push and Pee, which is going to be interesting. So here's the thing. We're going to play a drinking game tonight. The first 15 minutes of this live is going to be sponsored by Nurse Deck. So you'll probably hear me talk about them a couple times during the first 15 or so minutes. After that, we're going to see where this goes. And it's already bad because I'm already hitting the microphone. So we're going to see what's up. Definitely want you guys to play along too. So if you're at home and you have an adult alcoholic beverage, oh my goodness, this is going to be a night. If you have an adult alcoholic beverage and you're over 21 years old, then feel free to join. I'm going to go over the rules here in a minute. So this is the plan, okay? So we're going to go over travel nurse related questions. Like if you guys have anything travel nursing related, throw it in the comments. We are both live on TikTok and YouTube right now. There are going to be tons of people available to comment. I cannot stop hitting this microphone. I just don't think this is the right area to have this in. Some of these, so I'm going to go over not only travel nurse questions, but I'm going to go over some stories that I have learned or heard of or experienced along the way that are incredibly difficult to believe. Like you're going to have a really hard time believing these stories. Like, I'm not even kidding. Oh, hold on a second. Peyton is my niece. Says, hello, Rich from Columbia, South Carolina. Hello, what is going on? Hope you're ready to play this game. I mean, if you're at work, probably shouldn't be drinking alcohol unless you have a job where you can drink alcohol. But with that being said, everybody else, dude, you're welcome to play along and have yourself a grand old time. All right. So these hard to believe stories are going to be largely focused on like end of life type things. So yeah, not everybody talks about it. It's kind of like taboo. But yeah, let's go through it, right? Especially one story that every time I tell it literally gives me chills, like every single time. So we're going to try this out today. We're going to see what we can do. All right. Drinking game rules. You have to be over 21 years old to play. Duh. Everybody knows that, right? Like, so if you're a kid, I mean, you can watch, but just don't start drinking. Oh, we got roses being sent as well. Let's go, Peyton. Woo! That's exciting. I don't know. I get real too excited, dude. You can send me like a penny on here and I am thoroughly thrilled. So I just want to say thank you so much for sending anything. Drinking game rules. Here's when you take a drink, you will hear a bell. This bell specifically right there. Hopefully you guys could hear that. It's so stupid. I went out and bought a bell today. Like how ridiculous for this game. I went out and bought a whiteboard and I bought a bell. I feel like I'm too invested in this, so we're going to find out. So here are the rules. Take a drink if I mention being a travel nurse, which I will probably mention that a few times. Just throwing that out there. Take a drink whenever I laugh at a comment. And for whatever reason, I've noticed I am very prone to laughing at comments. I'm going to try not to laugh at so many today. We're going to see what we can do. I'm really hoping that, we can figure this out. Take a drink every time I get sidetracked or distracted, which is way easier to do. Right? Take a drink at every 1,000 likes. And you might be thinking, wait, 1,000 likes? It sounds like a lot. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, you can just spam tap that like button. If you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, you can't do anything. Like this does not apply to you. This only applies to my friends over here on TikTok. So you just can go and spam that like button. And every time we hit 1,000, take a drink. So kind of like this. I'm pretty sure it's sideways, but that's all right. And then I didn't have a place to write it, but if I end up telling some kind of story that gives you the chills. Oh, and we already got people spamming the like. This is going to be a bad night, guys. I mean, it's going to be a good night, but dude, please don't kill me from alcohol poisoning. I'm just throwing it out there. Please don't do that. Tonight we are drinking something called Push and Pee. This is from a brewery called Southern Grist. And interestingly enough, it's a lactose sour ale with pistachio, pudding powder, pineapple, passion fruit, and provoke. It's kind of weird to say all that, but that's the game plan. All right, so let's get started, right? Let's get right into this stuff here. So a little bit about me. Here it comes, right? So I'm a travel nurse, which means take a drink, right? Right off the bat. So that's what I do for a living. I travel all around the country sometimes, and other times I just stay locally, like right here, just kind of hang out in the city that I'm in, and I'll take local assignments. I mean, it's pretty awesome. With that being said, I've come across some crazy stories that, like, thinking back on them, kind of hard to believe. So let's just talk about these, because maybe you guys have seen some patterns, and I definitely want to know, like, have you noticed these same situations? Because I'm kind of curious, because I'm super skeptical that any of this means anything, but like some of it's actually just really interesting. All right. So first things first, my wife is a hospice nurse. She's told me some stories on the hospice side of things. Also kind of interesting, like for whatever reason, and this is true actually at the places that I've worked too. Lots of times hospice patients, or like dementia patients, specifically people who are having memory issues, they always end up seeing some kind of child. And it's usually around the time, like right before, they pass away. Has anybody else noticed this? Like, has anybody else heard something like this? And like most of the time, right? Like I think of, oh crap, hold on. That's a distraction. All right, got a drink. That's a distraction. You guys are gonna have to let me know, like if I miss something. Let me know, like if I miss hitting the bell or whatever, because someone has to hold me accountable. But it wouldn't be that big of a deal, like if dementia patients, saw children, because I mean, like I had a grandmother who saw children all the time. Like matter of fact, like she thought she was going to school. She's like, "Oh, I found a little baby at school, and I brought this little baby home." And then you realize, well, that little baby is just your granddaughter, and she's actually been living with you for like the last year. But yeah, it didn't stop convincing her that she saw a child. So normally when I hear that, I'm like, no big deal. Like what's the big deal of seeing a baby, when you're a dementia patient? But the kind of eerie thing about this specific situation is when you ask them follow-up questions, like what does this kid look like? A lot of times you'll get an answer that this kid's wearing the same clothing. And that to me is just so weird. Like the same clothing. I mean, I don't know. If you just think about it, it just sounds almost unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the first story. So, all right. So I got another one. Here we go. So there were these two patients, right? Couple rooms apart from each other. They did not know each other, right? Like did not know each other. Matter of fact, one of them, if I remember right, had some sort of traumatic brain injury, was in no condition, like was, literally on death's door. And the other one, I think, was a dementia patient also, if I remember correctly. And we'll see, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was. And so the one with the traumatic brain injury, we're just going to say his name's John Smith. So John ended up dying, right? Like he passed away. And it was like a couple of days later, and the nurse was in this dude's room, like 2 doors down, and was talking to him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, John Smith just came over and visited me earlier today." And then the nurse is like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean somebody named John Smith came over and visited you?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, he came over and visited me." Oh wait, we got a question on YouTube. Hold up. I got to make this bigger. Hang on. Or maybe I don't. Top chat, I can only read half your question. I might have to copy and paste it. I'll get with that question in a second. Or maybe I won't. All right, we're going to figure this. I'm just going to go full screen with this. I thought I had this chat set up. Here we go. Denise Sundkist on YouTube says, "I'm trying to get into travel, but I have a 29-year-old black mark on my record. Nothing since, and it's coming back now after I've been doing great work for so long. I'm a NICU nurse, by the way." So you have a record, like, hold on. So you have an issue from 29 years ago, and you're trying to get back into things and you're trying to figure out like if you can get back into things, like that sounds absolutely crazy. Like hold on a second. So the way that I see it, right, in most cases with travel nursing, as long as you have a license and you've jumped through the appropriate hoops to get your license like reinstated, then most of the time it's not that big of a deal. From what I understand, I mean, I've known people who have had black marks on their record and who have went through the proper channels to get those taken care of. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, like what is it that's giving you a difficult time getting back into the swing of things? Like, I mean, you work NICU, like that's pretty intense. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. Worst case scenario, I guess start with working at like a local place. Okay, so yes, a suspension, but I've been working for 28 years. Hold on a second. Let me see if I understand this. So you've been working for 28 years. You had a suspension. Was your suspension 29 years ago? Or, because that's what it sounds like you're saying. It sounds like you're saying your suspension was 29 years ago. Or 20, yeah, whatever, 8 years ago. Because if that's the case, and you've still been working, like they're not even going to think twice about that. They probably won't even ask you. You said, turns out the travel companies have reviewed boards and they won't take me. I'm so discouraged. Listen, if you have an active nursing license with like no current board action against your license, it's usually not a problem. All right, hold on a second. LOL, this seems fun. So much fun. Hey, dude, people on here commenting, seems fun, so much fun. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an interesting idea. 28-year sentence of suspension. That sounds like a long time ago. Realistically, what I would do is I would try multiple travel companies. I would try different travel companies. And realistically, if you make yourself like an area in your computer that has like all the stuff that you need for travel companies, you can kind of almost streamline the process and make it easier. Because like one of the hardest things about travel nursing is getting all your stuff together and actually like taking care of all that. Hold on. Can you pin my comment? I don't know what oh, I'm actually looking at travel contracts right now. I don't know if I can pin your comment. I'm so sorry. Dude, we've got a lot of good stuff going on. And so here's the thing. I have like a mountain's worth of things in front of me because I'm trying to stream from multiple places, trying to get all this stuff set up like at once. Oh, by the way, just to give everybody a quick reminder, this stream is brought to you by NurseDeck. NurseDeck is in my description, or maybe not on YouTube, but check me out on TikTok. I have them all over the place. So you can check out my Stan store. It's stan.store/TravelNurseRich. Check it out. Let me know how it's going. And yeah, dude, YouTube is going crazy with the comments right now. Yeah, just keep trying, Denise. You've got this. And then real quick, Scott L said, here, I'm going to get to these questions because things are actually starting to roll right now. All right, Scott L says, just about to finish LPN school. Found your channel through the YouTube shorts. What do you think of correctional facilities? I'm a bit burnt out of bedside. Thanks for all your knowledge. Hey, Scott, I appreciate the comment, to be real honest with you. Dude, I don't know. I'm smiling too much for that comment. I don't know why. So might as well drink, everybody. Anyway, with that being said, what do I think of correctional facilities? I think it's a different way to do nursing. And if it's something that you find interesting, then you should definitely give it a shot. Most of the time, I recommend getting some kind of bedside experience first. I know, but you've been through LPN school. Like maybe even like get hired on in a place and work for maybe, I don't know, like 2 to 6 months, just so that way you can tell like what they expect, right? Like get through the orientation process and just kind of like see exactly what they expect. Anyway, sorry, I'm reading comments. This is not me being distracted, by the way. Cheers, bro. Oh, come on, dude. Cheers. All right, that was me being distracted. All right, with that being said, so let me go ahead and finish a little bit more of this answer real quick. As long as you get a good idea of what people expect for you at the bedside, you can do any kind of nursing. And there are still travel nursing positions at correctional facilities. But keep in mind, if you're interested in travel nursing, which I don't know if you're not because you didn't mention it technically in the comment, if you're interested in doing that, then what you need to do is realize that the correctional facilities The contracts available for travel nursing are few and far between. It's like trying to find a hospice job, right? As a travel nurse, it's difficult because there just are not a ton of jobs that are in need. Like, the amount of jobs that are in need for that, kind of small. Scott says, okay, cool. I appreciate that. All right. So we got a couple questions here on TikTok. It says, what travel companies do you use? So here's the thing. I use Travel Nurse Across America when I first started. They're a great full service company. This place is incredible. Like, they're great as far as like need goes and like in walking you through everything. As far as doing things on your own, what you want to do is you want to, oh crap, dude, I'm thinking about people finding me on YouTube Shorts. That's a distraction. Drink. This is going to be a long night, guys. This is going to be a really long night. So we'll drink again. All right. With that being said, dude, I just need to stop getting distracted, right? Oh, crap. What was I talking about? Focus. Yes, please. Let me focus. All right. Travel companies. That's right. So, but here's the thing. I've been travel nursing for long enough that I don't think it's that important to have an agent find a contract for me. And so I went with a company called Trusted Health that pays more. And when I say pays more, like on average, I'm finding they're paying like around $20 more per hour per assignment. And it's not that for every single assignment, but it's the same thing for a company called Nomad Health. And that's the only reason they can do that is because they get rid of the agent. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the thing. Oh my goodness. All right. Hi, can you hold on? We got to get these names. User whatever on TikTok says, hi, can you only work, by the way, for travel assignments? I'm not really sure what that means, but I'll be real honest. I have no idea. I have no idea if you can only work like, oh, that's a distraction and it's such a lie. I know the answer to this. Drink. guys, there's so many things going like on, right? And it might be the question might be twice a week. That's a different answer. All right. So maybe the question is asking, can you only work twice a week for a travel contract? Yeah, that's what it says. Okay, twice a week. Yeah, and in most cases, the answer to that is no. Most of the time, you cannot find a travel contract that's only willing to work you twice a week. But if you apply to a 36-hour-a-week position and then during the job interview, I think your best chances of getting it is that way during the job interview, mentioning to the nurse manager that you'd be willing to do it, but you can only do it 2 days a week. So then you're requesting to have your contract from 36 drop down to 24. I think those are going to be honestly your best options to do travel nursing part-time. Because other than that, it is incredibly difficult to find a travel company that's willing to let you work part-time, if that's what the question is. And I'm hoping that's what the question is. All right, cool. All right. Are we caught up? I think we're caught up. Yeah, it says, yeah, user a bunch of numbers after your name says, thanks. You're welcome. Absolutely. Anytime. All right, here we go. So back to the spooky stories, right? So I just got done telling you guys about that old person who like said that this dude that died 2 days later like visited him in his room, right? And you're like, what are the odds that would happen? Well, here's the thing about that, like, because most of the time I'd be like, oh, no big deal. But the dude that died had no family. Like that was like strike one, right? Strike two was that he had no visitors. And strike three, the nurses don't talk about patients' names in front of other patients most of the time, right? And so that's what I'm thinking. If there's some leeway where this was a problem, like maybe that's where that leeway is, you know? But it's just kind of odd that, but this person not only said this name visit him, but he said the room number. He's like, from the guy from room 10. And the nurse was like you shouldn't know this, right? Like you probably should not know this. And yeah, anyway, I find it interesting. But yeah, smash that like button, guys. 132 likes. You can hit it repeatedly. I am not scared to take a couple more drinks. I'm just throwing it out there. Like if you guys want. I mean, we have not hit 1,000 likes yet on TikTok. I mean, we got 132, which is pretty good. But either way. All right. Let's go through the stuff. And I had a couple more questions. Goodness, dude. Oh, that's right. Somebody asked to travel. Do I think the prices will continue to go down for travel nurse contracts? And this is a really important question. but it has to be prefaced by what do you mean by prices going down? And let me kind of explain what I'm talking about. If you like, there are people out there that think prices when they were ridiculously high, like the $10,000 a week contracts, or like even like the $5,000-$6,000 a week contracts for like 36, 48 hours. A lot of people just started travel nursing during that time, and they kind of got used to that and thought that was like the norm. Like that's not anywhere near what the normal is. The normal before COVID was on the lower end, $1,500 a week take home pay. And then on the higher end, like, well, I can't do higher end because then you have to talk about California. And, you know, whenever you talk about California, dude, it just skews all the numbers. So on the higher end in the Midwest, it was like 2,000, 2,200, 2,400 a week. So that's like, I know somebody was way too excited about a contract at a large hospital for $1,900 a week take home pay. And I was really jealous about that person getting that contract when I first started. So just to kind of give you a heads up, right now, I'm seeing contracts. I mean, I've seen some higher ones, but I'm seeing them kind of chilling in the area of like mid 2000s, like $2,500 a week, maybe $3,000 a week for like the majority of the country. And then there's the exception of like California. But do I think these prices are going to go down? No, not too much. I really don't think these prices are going to go down much more than they already are right now. What are you drinking? Somebody said your name just disappeared, or I would tell you it's called Push and Pee. Push and Pee. You see that right there? It's from Southern Grist. It's kind of a specialty brewery. They're always rotating their drinks. And so sometimes I grab these because I'm like, dude, I want to try it before it goes out of style. Like a friend of mine in Tennessee turned me on to this stuff. And I thought, hey, what a great idea. And then I got sick on it one night. And then I was like, dude, this is a freaking horrible idea. And then anyway, now I have a fridge full of them. But I just need to chill because you can't go fast with these types of drinks. Like, bad call. So this tonight, you know, it's going to be fun. Are contracts dwindling is the next question. I don't think so, realistically. So travel nursing is a very unique situation with supply and demand. It's almost exclusively supply and demand, which is great. Like, it's really great for travel nursing being supply and demand. What is going on? Somebody says questioning and just gave me thumbs ups. Oh, that's just your name? I thought it was saying it's on YouTube. Sorry. Dude, guys, I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of you guys, right? Yeah, don't forget to spam that like button. Oh, you guys are trying to make it. You guys are trying to make it to 1,000 likes for that extra drink. You know what? We'll give a free drink right here. Free drink. Cheers. But with that being said, dude, this bell is so stupid. Why did I buy this bell? With that being said, contracts are only dwindling in the sense that when everybody jumped on travel nursing, when it was like crazy popular to be a travel nurse, like sometime mid last year, early this year, contracts slowed down, but it's not like really like they were dwindling, right? Like the contracts were still like there. It's just they were being filled up by people who are chasing these really high paying contracts. Now that the contracts have kind of come down a little bit, there are people that were just, for whatever reason, have decided to go back to the bedside, even though I don't think it's technically worth it to go back to the bedside. Yeah, but I think that's a solid answer to that question. I can't get your name. So here's the thing. Says, hey, from Chicago. Hey, I'll say hey to you too, but I would like to read your name out. But like, dude, the way TikTok does things, they have your name like grayed out a little bit. It's so annoying. And it's not just your name, it's everybody's name, but that's just kind of how TikTok rolls. We've got a bunch of questions coming in. Real quick by Cath Travel. With the two new COVID variants, I'm trying to read this question. Do you think the contracts will go up again? So that's a great question, right? Like that is actually a really good question. But here's the problem, right? Like here's what I think. And now keep in mind, like, dude, I don't know why you guys want to know what I think about this, but I'll gladly tell you what I think. And I think it's a pretty well-formed idea. But with that being said, with the new COVID variants, is just like with any COVID variant after the Omicron variant, right? Like, which is the variant that came through and just literally hit everybody, but didn't do like a ton of damage. Like, we didn't see insane lasting damage from that one, but tons of people got infected, right? Like, tons of people got infected. And the immunity that you get when being infected from COVID is pretty good based on the data that's come out, right? Add to that, a lot of people are getting vaccinated, whether they've been infected with it or not. I kind of think we're at a point in the country, realistically, to where the people that are getting infected with these new variants of COVID, unless COVID like changes significantly on the way, like to where like the old times that you caught the disease don't matter and the vaccine doesn't matter. Like until that actually happens, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal, to be real honest. We're just not seeing it be a huge deal. It's almost like the massive surges in COVID have kind of dwindled significantly. Like we still see it every now and then, but it's not nearly as pronounced as it was at the hospital setting. All right. More questions on the YouTube. Scott L said, did you find you learned more in pharmacology in the real world compared to in school? My teacher keeps telling us it's too much to teach it all in 2.5 months. Scott said, push. I laughed. You guys are killing me. Scott said, push and pee, we got to get you a real bell. Yeah, dude, stop throwing these laughing emojis because it makes me laugh back. But that means drink. I laughed. It's laughing at a comment, drink. Push and pee, right? So that's what we got. Oh, dude. Okay. Any agencies you stay away from? So the answer to that is yes, but also I'm not necessarily against other people going to them. It's just based on what I've heard. I'm not really interested in taking the chance. And so one agency that I hear a ton of, just because they're super popular, that I kind of stay away from, is called Aya Healthcare, like Aya Health. And I've looked into them. I've tried to contact them actually on multiple things because they do more than just nursing contracts. Like they do allied as well. So like CNAs, they can get jobs for Aya as well. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't respond back to me when I reached out to see if they were interested in me recommending them for like like the ancillary staff, like the CNAs or like basically whatever other staff like the RTs or other other healthcare field people. Dude, what am I talking about, right? Did I just have a stroke? Either way, all the other people that are not nurses that decided to go into travel, I thought it would be good to have a place that's big enough that has resources that I could recommend them to. And they didn't really reach back with anything substantive. Like actually, they just ignored me. So I said, well, that's fine. And then when I take into consideration all the stories I've heard about them, it's literally hit or miss. And when I say that, I mean, some people that say they love it have never, like usually the people that say they love it have never been anywhere else. And that's usually a red flag. And the people that say they hate it are way too many. I think it's probably around 50-50 from the people that I've talked to. And having a 50-50 like love-hate relationship with it, I'm not thoroughly impressed. I am not thoroughly impressed. Scott L says, Aya Health is a joke. Used them as a CNA, and only way I got a response was through Twitter's social media team. Yeah, like that's the thing. And that's kind of what people were telling me as well. Like they're just, I mean, I'm pretty sure they give you an agent and then you're fine. Like you have a resource and then it's like having any other agent and it's really no big deal. But other than that, I don't know. It's not something that I would recommend. That's the one that I would stay away from. Oh, and because it's 10:48, I think I went over time on the Nurse Deck sponsored live. So one last time, if you guys are a nurse or nursing student and you would like to get some crazy resources about nursing, go join me on Nurse Deck. I have a travel nurse group on there. Link in my TikTok profile. Go check it out for yourself. It's actually really great. Lots of things that you can use to benefit yourself, and it's free, super free. With that being said, that's it for all my Nurse Tech sponsored content. The rest of this stuff is just going to be me talking to you guys and hanging out. Dude, I think it says Lay Ray. I can only see half of your name. She says, or he says, because I can't tell. I'm assuming it's she says, thoughts on local contracts, right? And so here's the thing. Oh, dude, we've got people already responding to Lay RNC. Okay. Thoughts on local contracts. I think local contracts are underappreciated in travel nursing. I think they are the secret weapon of travel nursing. And if that doesn't make any sense, let me tell you what that means. Local contracts allow anybody, and when I say anybody, I mean literally anybody, become a travel nurse. Like if you're an RN already, And say you're a single mother and you're like, well, I can't do travel because I have kids. Well, can you work full time? If the answer is yes, then you can be a travel nurse. It would just be a local travel nurse. I mean, technically you could make it work going farther, but for whatever reason, like local pharmacology question from above. Oh, I'll get to it. Dude, that's what you get for making me laugh, Scott. Yeah, so that's local travel nursing. I absolutely love it. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm actually on a local assignment right now. And believe it or not, I'm making more on this local assignment for take-home pay than I was on my last travel nursing assignment, because that's how it ended up working. So back to Scott's pharmacology question. Teachers telling us it's too much to teach in 2.5 months. And do you learn more when you're out in the real world? So the answer to that is, yeah, obviously. I mean, you're going to be, depending on how long you're at the bedside and depending on what specialty of nursing is, you're going to get very familiar with the drugs that you regularly give. Like, pharmacology is nice because you get to understand the different classes of medication. And once you understand, like, in general, what a class of medication does, the vast majority of the time you can apply principles from that to understand exactly, like, what a new medication that you've never heard of before in the same class can do. Like, you pretty much have a pretty good idea of what that means. And I think that's an absolute fantastic thing. And it also lets you know in general what kind of symptoms to look out for. Like, when you understand what a class of medication does, then you'll even understand what symptoms that you can look out for, which is really good when talking to like your patients and stuff. But yeah, you're going to learn it much more in school than you are in your actual pharmacology. And to put this into perspective, a lot of, distraction, drink. I rung a bell. I don't have a good bell. Sorry if it sounds horrible. Drink. Lots of nursing programs actually do not even require you to take pharmacology if you're getting an associate's degree. Fun fact of the day. So that just kind of shows you how important pharmacology is. All right. I'm just going to try to pronounce names that I can only half see. I'm going to say it's called Hither RN, says at Healthcare Team. You just have to negotiate your price better since you aren't getting the stipend. So they must be talking about local contracts. And a lot of times that's actually true. Yeah, you do want to negotiate your price a little bit better when you're not getting a stipend. But sometimes there's really just not a ton of wiggle room to negotiate. But you're still going to get paid way more than 99% of like staff RNs, with that one exception being way out in California in the Bay Area that we talked about. And so all these Bay Area people who are like, I make more than travel nurses. Like, dude, not everybody can come live in the Bay Area. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. We can't, like, some of us would love to, and some of us would really not love to, but we can't all live out there. So in order to stop everybody in the US from moving out to California, we got to go do our own thing somewhere else. Someone said, nice, I'm in South Jersey. That's awesome. You guys are just telling all about where you guys are staying. That's fine. Dude, TikTok is always lit with the comments. You guys are rocking it. Silly Meatball, that's a solid name, says, did you get your associates in nursing or a bachelor's degree? Dude, this is an important question. Look, I was going to talk about some spooky stories and stuff. Dude, I don't even have to do that anymore. Like, you guys are just really like engaged in this chat, and I appreciate that. So what I did is I started out with my associate's degree. The reason I did that is because I thought it would be better for me so I could get started working sooner. Because at the time, wife and kids, and I was trying to work while going through school. And so I figured I wanted to hit the ground working after 2 years instead of after 4 years. And that worked out really well. And actually what you find out is like the associate's degree nurses, a lot of the time, they feel better prepared than the bachelor's degree nurses. And you actually hear that quite a bit. Dell support. My Dell support has expired, guys. I'm sorry to tell you about that. And also, I don't know why my sound is up to a 10, but that's fine. I'm not gonna start messing with settings. The next thing you know, you guys won't be able to hear me. It's gonna be all bad. But as far as, is it a good idea to get a bachelor's degree, like to be a travel nurse or to be a nurse in general? Not a bad idea. Like, I mean, the studies that have come out show that your patients will be safer when you eventually go back and get your bachelor's degree. And then if you even go higher education for like master's degree, that also shows those patients even safer, even fewer nursing errors. But then lots of those nurses with those higher education degrees leave the bedside. So it's kind of a catch. Like, definitely get your higher education if you're interested in it. If it's something that interests you, don't get it because you think it's going to make you amazing. Because it probably won't. Like realistically, if you knew about leadership and management, and then you knew the importance of studies, and you really knew all sorts of things about like studies and whatnot, then yeah, I mean, it would be pretty much not that important to get your bachelor's degree. All right, let's see. Here we go. Jim Piccolo 42. Sorry, dude, I am butchering your name because I just can't see it. I don't know what good travel nurse companies are. So I kind of answered this question earlier, but we'll go ahead and throw it up there again for Jim Piccolo 42. Because I mean, it sounds like he's 42, but before that, I'm gonna take a drink because I'm a travel nurse. We'll do that. With that being said, good travel nurse companies are all about what you're looking for, like all about what you want. So pick what you like about a company. What I would say is if you like when you first start, you probably need good resources, right? And most places will offer you benefits. Most places will have lots of resources. If you pick a small company, it's probably fine. You'll probably get paid a little bit more, but you're also going to have difficulty when it comes to like needing resources that the larger companies provide. So the best thing that I can tell you to do is go through Google reviews before you actually apply to a travel company, and just kind of read reviews on these places. I mean, realistically, it's kind of a smart thing to do. Yeah, and that should work. All right, let's see. Do you buy your own insurance or get it through your travel company? Hold on a second. What does this say? Does that say 1.1 thousand likes? It does. Drink. That's over 1,000 likes, guys. These guys on TikTok are rocking it right now. We got a drink. And then I got to open another drink because I'm running low. All right, next on the chopping block, we have another Southern Grist drink here. This one is called Raspberry Whip. Raspberry Whip, right? Description: it's a sour ale brewed with lactose, raspberry puree, and raspberry dairy-free frozen dessert mix. So, yeah, we'll give that a shot. That's going to be what's going on next. Wait, hold on. Thanks for ignoring me. You're awesome. What do you mean? Listen, I can't see. Listen, here's the thing. Just if you don't get an answer from me from your question, just throwing it out there, just rewrite your question because I can only see the bottom three things. And sometimes one of the bottom things is like likes that are being currently sent. But go ahead and rewrite your question. I will get back to you if you're still here. I'm so sorry. Not trying to ignore you. Cubano, I think that's what it says. All right. Let's see. So do you get your own insurance or get it through your travel company? I get my insurance through my travel company. I do not get my own travel insurance. I thought about doing it because it does make it easier if you're going from job to job. You can just keep paying the fee. But from what I understand, it is a little bit more expensive. Basically, whenever you don't have a company paying half of your travel or of your insurance, then you're going to be paying more. And so it's really not that bad. It's actually pretty much a similar price of what I would pay for myself as like a staff nurse somewhere, which is awesome. Like if I had to go ahead and take care of, I just laughed at a comment. Stupid drink. Actually, wow, that's pretty good. Surprise. If I had to basically provide insurance for my entire family, that would be one of the issues. Because in that case, travel nursing insurance is usually like way more expensive, like significantly more expensive. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. But anyway, S. Cubano must have left because I asked to rewrite the question. And still all I got is thanks for ignoring me. You're awesome. Like, please. Oh, it's a laugh. Dude, I forget my own rules. Drink. All right, let's go back to these stories and we'll see if you guys want to get some. Somebody said ASO dance. Like I said, I can't read names. I'm sorry. It says join the military. I'm not really sure if that's directed at me. I'm not really sure if that's directed at just everybody watching this live. But I mean, it kind of seems like one of those things like when you're like doing a live and then somebody just jumps in to say, you know, Jesus loves you and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I mean, it's really nice. It's a really nice thing to say, but like, it's pretty, it's not very specific, you know? It's just kind of like, oh, just got to give you this message. You got to get it now. And that message is join the military. And then someone responded to him. Oh, laughed. Says, I was in the military, LOL. Got a drink for that. This stupid bell. All right. So here we go. All right, I got another story. Do you guys ever notice, like, I don't know how many of you actually work in healthcare or are in the hospital, but one thing that I've noticed is whenever a patient suggests that they're going to die, then we should probably listen, right? Like, because here's the thing. It usually either means one of two things. Like, the first thing that it could mean is that they're crazy and that you shouldn't have to listen to them, right? But the second thing that it could mean is that they actually know what they're talking about. Because it happens way too much. Like, it happens way too much. It happens like a way higher percentage of the time than it actually should if they didn't know what was going on. And I don't know if it's just that fear of impending doom or what it is that like triggers this. But like, let me kind of give you a story. So there was this lady that came in, and it wasn't even my lady. But I helped out in there all night. And this is back when like COVID was at its peak. Well, this lady came in on 2 liters nasal cannula, like, which is not that much oxygen. And she came in with, shortness of breath. But like, she was satting fine. Like, she was doing great. Like, vitals wise, she was doing wonderfully. But she just kept claiming that she was going to die tonight. And I thought that was odd. And I was like, well, I mean, like, it's night shift. So you probably got like 2 hours, hopefully you don't actually end up going in these like 2 hours. Like, that would be bad, And so either way, we started taking care of her and whatnot. And then literally 30 minutes before she ended up, or before midnight, her pressures just started tanking like crazy. And then we had her on crazy amounts of pressors and stuff. And I mean, she was a DNR, so we weren't going to do like compressions and whatnot. But this lady, like, even with us trying to do everything we could to save her, she still ended up passing literally at 11:58. And so the fact that she went and said that she was going to die that night, and she legit, like, didn't even, like, dude, like, how? You know what I mean? Like, what are the odds? Come on. You can't be doing that. So either way, after the doctor called the time of death at 11:58, I go, seriously? Can we like change the time of death to maybe like, 12:01, so that way she won't get like the last laugh, I don't know why I really wanted to do that, but he was not interested in entertaining me. Let's see, here we go. Check. Oh, the Army treats its RN Bsn pretty well. Just a thought. Oh, I got you. It was just a response to that Bsn discussion I was having. Okay. And then says they know they're going to exit the building. Dude, these guys, they do know they're going to exit the building. There's definitely something's going on. It's happened way too frequently. Like, my ears perk up and I like write it down. I'm like, okay, patient says they're going to die, which doesn't necessarily mean today, but could definitely mean within like the next week. And like, a lot of the times it ends up happening. It's absolutely insane. And then Lay RNC says, yes, definitely gets your attention. Yeah, it's super, super true. Now travel nurse, check. Hey, everybody who's joined, thanks for joining, by the way. Just wanted to say thanks for that. All right. I'm going to tell the craziest story that, like, I feel like it's one of the craziest stories that I've actually ever witnessed. And so thanks to the people that are all in here. You guys are going to get to check it out. And I think if you miss it, then I guess you can go on my YouTube and check it out too, because it's going to be, I think the lives are recorded and stay up on YouTube. Maybe not. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Either way, follow if you feel like it. And if not, no worries. But here's the thing. So I had this guy once, and he was a very sick guy. Like, probably life expectancy would say less than a year, most likely. Not necessarily on the hospice situation yet, like not at the less than 6 months, but definitely less than a year. And he was a really annoying person. And when I say really annoying, his anxiety was super high, and he loved yelling at people for like doing things that he thinks they should have done, or for not doing things he thinks they should have done. So like, it was just one of those patients that like, you go to work and like, you hate saying this, but you're like, man, I really don't want to have to take care of this guy today. Like, I really just want a different assignment, And so you come into work, and I was taking care of him, and I ended up, liking the guy enough that I figured I ended up taking care of him for like 4 or 5 days in a row. Right. Well, on my last day before my stretch off, I was in there getting him cleaned up and whatnot. And then he said, I'm dying. I'm going to die. Right. And I go, come on, dude. And I look at his vital signs and I go, well, not right now. You're not, because I just ran a blood pressure. Like, his vitals were fine. I go, no, you're doing okay. Like, dude, things are fine. Like, don't worry about it, And so I was getting ready to give him medication. I'm just chilling in his room, like drawing up some meds. Next thing you know, look over and I notice he wasn't blinking. And I'm like, look at the monitor and I'm like, no, this dude's definitely got a rhythm. So I'm like, all right, well, let's go check a pulse, right? So I go up, I check a pulse. He's got a pulse. I call his name a few times, no response. He's got a pulse, though. He's breathing. Okay. So I nonchalantly go out into the hall and I go, hey guys, you want to bring the crash cart for funsies? I mean, my guy's still alive right now, but looks like he might be going soon, you know? And so by the time I get back in there, which, you know, only like another 3 seconds, I went and checked the pulse again and I felt it go out. And I was like, oh, freaking crap, dude, you know? So, you know, you do the thing, you're like, call a code, blah, 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 whatever. So literally a whole team of people rush in there. We start doing compressions. We ended up doing 9 minutes of compressions and we brought him back. And we actually brought him back before he bought himself an ET tube, before respiratory had that ET tube in. And so, like, when he came back, like, he was talking, he was complaining, you know, and he was doing his thing, you know, because he just got done, like he started fighting people because he had a mask over his face and didn't know what was going on. But either way, we made this dude come back. And so, like, his family ended up coming in because this was during COVID. Like, they weren't letting any visitors come in, like 0 visitors for anybody under any circumstances. That was a really poor time, but they decided to break the rules because this dude literally just died. So, and we brought him back and we didn't know how much longer he would have. And so they let his family come in to kind of see him, like, you know, one last time, basically. And so the family came in to take care of not take care of this dude. What am I talking about? I guess that's a distraction. I don't feel like I shouldn't be interrupting the story, though. This is a good story, so hang tight. So the family ends up coming in and spends a couple hours with this guy. And then the next thing you know, he tells them, like, I'm in the room and he's like talking to his kids and he's like, guys, I have something super important to tell you. He's like, you are not going to believe what happened to me. He's like, you guys are not going to believe what happened to me. And like, he was dead serious. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting thing for a guy that just died and came back to life would say, you know? So he ended up taking off, or they ended up taking off. And then he was still awake later because he was like, I don't want to tell you right now. He's like, I'll tell you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get some sleep. So they leave and go home. I come back in there because, you know, I'm taking care of him throughout the night. And he starts talking to me about things. And I go, hey, I said, I heard you talking to your family saying that, you know, they're not going to believe, like, they're not going to believe at all, like, what you had experienced or whatever. I'm like, do you want to talk about it? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, oh, I do want to talk about it. And he's like, you know, you're not going to believe me either. And I was like, you know, try me. Why not? You know, I've heard some weird things, you know, why not? And he goes, you know, when I died today? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of there for that, you know? And he's like, he looked me dead in the eye now keep in mind, this dude was the most anxious human being I've ever met in my life. He was incredibly rude. It was like a switch had flipped because he was dead serious and he was really calm. Like, it was the weirdest change of character I've ever seen in my life. And he goes, yeah, I mean, he's like, I was talking to God. And I'm like, huh. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I was like, what'd you guys talk about? He's like, well, I told him that, you know, I knew my time has come. You know, I knew my time was here. And so, you know, I was okay with that. I said, yeah, I know my time's up. But he's like, I decided to ask him. I said, you know, if there's any chance, if you'd be willing, I'd really like to see my kids one more time. And then he looks at me and he goes, you know, when you tell somebody one more time, like you want to see your kids one more time, but you really mean you want to see them a lot more times? He's like, that's what I should have said. I should have said, like, you know, I want to see him a lot more times. And then he goes, did you bring me back? He's like, did you do, you know, like stuff to help bring me back? And I was like, well, I was kind of in the room, like right when it happened. Yeah. And he's like, man, come on, dude. He's like, why would you do that? You know? And then he's like, but I did get to see my kids again. So thanks, you know? But either way. And then a few days later, he ended up passing away. But it was the craziest thing. Like, this dude this dude had a personality change, which was the craziest thing that I've ever experienced. Like, this dude legit had a straight up personality change. And I was like, wow, dude, what are the odds? You know, like, and I can't guarantee that what he saw was any form of accurate, but I'm like, something happened to this guy. Like, definitely something happened, man. And it was kind of neat. I don't know. I always think about it and I'm like, dude, that's kind of neat. All right, let's see. Hiker Aaron says, at least they give you a warning. Recognize your PM care schedule. Yeah, for sure. Right. They don't always give me a warning though. Usually the monitor is what gives me a warning. But I don't know. I feel like when we bring people back, it's because I'm randomly in the room, and then they'll go like PEA when I'm in the room. So you just got to be able to recognize that. It's crazy. And then let's see. Oso Dame says thoughts on BSN online programs. So I think they're great. Actually, that's how I got my bachelor's degree. Yeah, talking about BSN, Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing, right? And so if you already have your associate's degree, getting your bachelor's online is really not a bad idea. I mean, it's really not. Like, actually, I think it's probably a good idea because you don't have to do clinicals since you've already done them, since you're most likely already practicing as a nurse. And with that being said, you don't even really need to go to some crazy accredited school for your bachelor's degree. Like, you can go to, whatever your work will help you pay for. If you think about it, I mean, your bachelor's degree in nursing is really not going to make you a ton more money. It might let you work in certain states that go to like all bachelor's degree states. But yeah. Thoughts on the ABSN program? I would have to, do you just mean on a BSN program in general, or do you mean associates to BSN? I'm not really sure what that abbreviation is. You might have to let me know exactly what you're talking about. Because I mean, I can talk about associates to bachelors, which are fine. I mean, it's just work. But going straight into nursing school as a bachelor's student, unless you're young and straight out of high school, probably wouldn't recommend it. Accelerated BSN program. Oh, I got you. So an accelerated BSN program, realistically, if you can handle the workload, it's really not that big of a deal. I've known people that got done with their BSN in 8 months. Like, they had their associate's degree already, but they got done with their BSN in 8 months. And it's really just how many papers you feel like you can write and how many research journals you can study. And the truth is, if you have time and you have the will, then dude, just get it over with. Yeah, that's fine. And it says for people with bachelors in other fields. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, look, here's the thing. I've been live for a while, and I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I guess I'm going to finish this drink. Dude, I'm disappointed. We only got to 2 drinks. Now I'm really not disappointed. I'm actually okay. This is not alcohol poisoning. I'm going to be fine tomorrow to get up with the kids. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. I love you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't on my YouTube. Come follow me on TikTok. Let me know any questions you guys have, and we'll make it work. And I will see you guys later. All right, who's leaving first? YouTube? We're going to say bye to YouTube? All right, yeah, let's say bye to YouTube first. Nope, just kidding. I don't know how to do that. Maybe I can. Hold on. Let's try this again. I think I've got a button here for this. Whatever. All right, we'll make it work. All right, see you TikTok. Love you guys. I can't leave, apparently. Here we go. Later. All right, I think that's it for that. And now let's find out how to actually get rid of this here.